Did you ever own a guitar that you thought you were really gonna love at first, but ended up not really liking? And then eventually down the road, you revisited it and realized that it just wasn't the right time for it, but now is? That's the point of today's video. So follow me as I show you why I went back to the Ernie Man Valentine guitar. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Zach Seif. I post regular content on what it's like being a full-time professional musician in today's modern music industry. So if you get something out of this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you liked and shared it with a friend. Several years ago, I became aware of the Valentine signature guitar from Ernie Musicman. It's the signature guitar of James Valentine, the guitarist of the massively successful rock pop band Maroon 5, and the guitar came out almost a decade ago at this point, and it is the perfect blend between a Fender Telecaster and a Gibson ES335 guitar. It literally features pickups that are meant to capture the sound of a vintage Tele in the bridge and a vintage 335 in the neck, but without any of the drawbacks of those instruments, such as the 60 cycle hum feedback from the single coil Telecaster and the feedback proness of the semi-hollowness of the 335. And the way that Musicman does this is they have something called the silent circuit, where it gets rid of the 60 cycle hum. It's an active circuit, so there's a battery in the back that powers the circuitry that allows you to remove all of that excess noise. Additionally, it allows you to balance the level and volume of the pickups when they're in either humbucking mode or in the neck pickup in particular. You can split it so that the guitar becomes a full-on Telecaster where you have the single coil in the bridge and it gives you just the single coil of the neck. It is a super comfortable guitar. I went over all of this in an earlier video on the channel if you want to check that out. It's a more of a full-blown review and demo. But today I want to go over why I originally got the guitar several years ago, why I got rid of it, and why I'm now coming back to it today. So the main reason why I came back to the Valentine guitar now is I feel that being in a wedding band, this is one of the most versatile instruments that I can find that covers everything that I do in a regular gig. For example, we do so many jazz uptops while people are entering the room, and that's exactly what this neck pickup is designed for. It's based on the neck pickup of the Gibson ES335, which is one of the most popular jazz guitars of all time. It has a super warm, balanced tone that doesn't get dark or muddy, and when you roll back the tone knob a little bit, it just cleans up so well in front of a Roland Jazz Chorus style amp or any Fender clean amp, and it just really fills up the room and gives you that classic jazz guitar tone. Coming over to the bridge pickup, because it's based on a vintage Telecaster, it gives you a little bit more brightness, cut, character, and it just sits in the mix so well. It's not as full as a humbucker, but obviously I still bring a second guitar to every show just in case I need that extra punch and aggression that only a humbucker can deliver. But because of the fact that it's also silent, because of the silent circuit that I talked about in the back of the guitar, it allows me to get all of those classic tones with none of the feedback worries that you would normally have, none of the drawbacks of those vintage guitars, and it works in every venue. I've had multiple instances where the power at the venue or the lights that we were using were just too much and we were getting too much interference, and I could not use the guitar at all during the show because it was just so noisy in both the PA and the in-ear monitors. I know know I've talked about it a couple times on this channel, but I do suffer from some slight chronic pain and repetitive stress injuries, pinched nerves in my shoulders. Just it's the nature of what I do for a living. And so I'm constantly on the lookout for lighter weight guitars that still allow me to get the job done. My heaviest guitar right now is the Majesty, and that's only 7.5 pounds or so. And still, after a 4-hour reception, I'm still sore, even with a 2-3 inch thick padded leather strap. Again, it's just the nature of what I do for a living. So the fact that this guitar weighs even less than that means that I can play it for a longer period of time and have even less fatigue or wear on my shoulders afterwards. I think it's a great opportunity for you to go back and see if you can revisit a guitar that you thought you were going to love, and when you got it, it just maybe didn't do it. There's so many variables as to how that can happen. One of them can just be the setup. You didn't like the way the guitar played. Maybe the action was too high, maybe it was too low, maybe the strings were too thick of a gauge, maybe they were too thin of a gauge. Maybe you didn't like the tone, maybe it just didn't have the right pickups, or maybe you bought it and it already had aftermarket pickups in it. Maybe you would have preferred the stock pickups. Maybe it wasn't the right time for that guitar. Maybe you were playing in a band that mostly played heavier styles of music, but it lent itself more towards lighter styles of music, and now maybe your tastes have changed or your gig has changed. Maybe it's a good opportunity to go back and revisit a guitar that you thought you were going to like, and maybe it just wasn't the right time for that. Guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. I'm going to spend the rest of the day with this guitar because I have 3 shows this weekend and I want to bring it to as many of those as possible. So I'm going to kind of dial it in a little bit more, perfect the setup, and make sure that all my tones are good to go. If you guys want more content on the regular, I post pretty much every day on Instagram. Again, I'm here on YouTube posting at least twice a month, just videos on what it's like being a professional musician in today's modern music industry. If you take 2 seconds, hit that subscribe button, it helps me out a ton. We're almost at 5,000 subscribers, and I'd love to get there by the end of the year. Till next time, everyone, keep on practicing and keep on following your dreams.